ListenLayer, we can use the user source listener to capture information about where users come from when they begin sessions on our website. Here we're using the capture user source feature to do this. This will push information into the data layer about where the user originated from based on rules that are listed under the user source rules section. You can create new rule sets or modify the existing rules. To do that, you can insert new rule rows, and you can even modify the output of the traffic source. Now, as users interact with our website across multiple sessions, we want to retain that information about where they came from. So we use ListenLayer to store it in the browser. In this case, we have a simple rule for local storage. And when our data layer activity includes the user source information, we're going to store that in 3 separate browser keys. Once it's in the browser storage, if the user completes an important action such as starting a chat or maybe watching an important video or filling out a form, we can do certain things with that information to capture it. For example, here under Gravity Forms, when a Gravity form loads on our website or is submitted, which are our 2 conditions here, so when those data layer events occur, we're actually going to take the information back out of browser storage and we're going to push it into the data layer. And I'll show you all of this on the test website briefly. Now, in addition, we can take that information and we can actually push it into hidden fields. So when a Gravity form is submitted, we can push those user source details out of browser storage. We can put them into a hidden field on our form. And here you can see that we've identified a handful of fields, or 3 fields specifically, based on some CSS selector rules, which allows us to match fields across multiple forms, or you can simply select a field from the dropdown. So jumping to our website, let's take a look at what this looks like. We have a user who's visited our website multiple times from multiple sources. And we can see we have 3 user source keys here. We have the user source path, we have user source first, and we have user source last. Now, as the user visits our website, data layer activity is generated. You'd be able to see that in the console or in the Google Tag Manager debug view like this. And because of the rules in ListenLayer, we're storing those in local storage, which allows them to persist over time in the browser. And to do something like this, where we actually accumulate the user's traffic sources over time, you can see this user started coming from Facebook ads, then they came from Google ads, then they came from Capterra paid. Now, there's a longer video that walks through exactly how to set this up. It'll be linked to below if you're on YouTube, or directly below this on the page. And you can see the detailed walkthrough of exactly how all of this is configured. But you can see here in my data layer activity, a form was just submitted. And we have a few important things going on here. First, we have the section in our data layer called custom values, where we've actually retrieved the information from our local storage that we were just looking at, and we've put it back into the data layer at a critical moment in time when a user's taken an important action or an important data layer event has occurred. So you can see those exact values are now resurfaced here. In addition to that, though, we can see inside of our form that we have all these fields. And some of these are hidden fields, and you can see input number 7 is actually being populated with the value Facebook ads, which is the first traffic source. Then we have Capterra paid, and we have Facebook ads. And so we're taking the user's first, last, and entire path of activity as they've visited our website, and we're actually storing it with their lead or their form submission by pushing it into hidden fields. And all of this is done simply using ListenLayer. Now you can see, even in some of our traffic sources, we've actually enriched our data. So when somebody comes from Google Ads we're actually going to get the keyword that they clicked on based on our UTM parameters. And again, that's all set up in inside of ListenLayer. And if you're interested in learning all the details about how this is set up, watch the longer use case video below that I mentioned. It's definitely a longer video, but we walk through every single step that'll enable you to do this. And you'll learn a lot about how the platform works and start to piece together some other really powerful things that you can do inside of ListenLayer.